Hakeem Podcast. I'm one half of Tyler Brian Hour, aka TBH. I'm your co-host, Be Heard, aka Brian, aka Prince, but you know what to hate. I'm a bastard, my boy, my brother, my brethren, mans and thems. TTL, you want to say something to the people?
Good evening, people. It is your co-host of the TBH podcast. I am Tyler the Lieber, aka TTL, aka Lieber Hendricks, and we got a good podcast for you today on Minds with Hakeem, man. So tune into that. Don't be late. Put on your listening ears. We're going to be popping everything off. So be on the lookout for that coming soon to you.
Yo, welcome back to another episode of the Minds with Hakeem podcast. I'm super excited for my guests I got here today. Some fellas I just bumped into, got hip to, and actually did an episode on their podcast, the Tyler Brian Hour Show. So Tyler, what's up, bro? Good to see you again.
What's good with you? What's good with your family?
Brian, how you doing, brother?
Living good. How are you?
Man, I'm excited for what you guys got to bring today, man. This has been a well-anticipated show. We talked about this a long time ago. And we here.
October 6th.
And we here.
Listening to that episode.
It's been a long time coming for this one, too.
Let's go. Yeah. So I got some real dudes up here, but the icebreaker question to get us going, and then we're going to jump right into Tyler and Brian, and you guys get to understand what they're doing more, and just learn about them and things they've been through. But icebreaker, first and foremost, anybody can take this one first. If you had one superpower, what would it be and why?
Go ahead, Tyler.
You know what? I think I'm gonna have to go with super strength. I'm gonna have to. I just want Thor niggas, like I just want to be able to talk.
Through like Thor.
Yeah, man. That's what is he? God of Thunder? No, that's Odin.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, yeah. So if I can get that going, and plus I have the hammer.
So you just want to be Thor? You said one superpower.
Wait.
I'm be Thor.
No. Okay. All right. You know what? Yeah. I just want to be Thor. Yeah. I'm going with
Thor.
that.
You heard it here first. Tyler Thor.
Kind of got into it. For me, you know what I'm saying? I just think of like situations that would still because if we got a superpower, right, we still gonna be ourselves.
Absolutely.
So the way I thought about it was duplication. So I can put one nigga at work. me on the podcast.
Why the fuck didn't I think about that?
I like that.
One at the gym, and I get all the benefits of it, and one reading. I'm perfect.
Bro, hey, you can never stop growing.
That's what I'm saying.
Absolutely. Hey.
They're like, yo, I just seen me her at the gym. You're like,
that nigga was at work.
He was just on the radio.
Man, I'm saying be everywhere at once. That's how I'm trying to do it.
I like that. You said duplication, right?
Uh-huh.
That's sweet, man.
Because it's a power that you don't think of. Like, not everybody else would pick that power. You think of everything else.
Yeah, no, I would definitely the first guest on the show, he said teleportation, which I was like, ooh, that's fire. Like,
that is fire.
You can spend the daytime in the morning, nighttime in Atlanta. That's lit, or wherever. And that's just, but duplication, that might be my new favorite one. I'm saving mine for last because I'm gonna steal a good one.
Okay.
So
okay. Cool. Yeah.
When you got your own show, you can do
shit. Hey, wait, we ain't mad at you for
you the boss.
Hey, you the boss, man.
I like to think though duplication at least gotta be top 5. That's my
I love that. Told y'all we're gonna hear all kind of high speed chase. We on 16 college, man. Shout out to Good Vibes. Y'all already know what we do this at, man.
Shout out.
But let's give them hand claps. It's Major Love.
Yep, there we go.
But I want to just jump right into it, man. Tyler Brian Hour, y'all podcast, man. Man, when did that start? Like, when did that podcast start for you guys?
You want to say about 5 years now?
I want to say it's been about 6 years.
Oh no! Don't worry. We had hiatus.
Okay.
Well,
yeah.
He's talking about when it started. So I want to say it started was it 6 years ago that Drake and Meek Mill first started their beef? Around then?
That's when it started.
It was right. I know that was like one of the main topics of our first podcast, but honestly, I kind of had a failed career in radio and then trying to get that to work. And then, Tyler was getting the ground running with his photography. Yep. And honestly, he's the one, I got to give him all the credit. He's the one that thought of it. He was just like, yo, what if we did a podcast? And I was just like, fuck it. And then how every other podcast starts off shitty audio quality, one mic, everybody just passing it on like it's a blunt or something like that. We just
trial and error.
Shoot the shit. Just talking about everything and anything.
Okay.
And it was definitely his idea.
So you was doing photography then, or did you start doing photography like after?
Well, most of all of this, like back 5 years ago, all this was done pretty much spontaneously.
Okay.
Like I was getting into the photography, and then I gave Brian the idea, hey, let's just do this podcast just for the side of it, man. Come on. Let's just see what we could do. And like as far as my idea for it, I was like, look, we be having real ass conversations in the car anyway.
That's what it's about.
We just be thinking about life, thinking about what could be, and all this shit. So we were like, you know what? Why don't we just get some mics and just start this shit going? And that's where it originated from, honestly. And we just spit. That's all we do, man.
No, I want to stay there before, and I got something I want to ask you about radio, but you was just like real conversations you two have in the car, man.
Right.
How long have y'all had that friendship to where y'all was able to give each other advice and just have those conversations?
I want to say it really probably started once I got my car, because I got my car first, so that had to be around 17. And
2017?
Or just, I was being 17 years old.
17 years old.
Like we're 27, so that's 10 years.
Same, I'm
Just,
27 too.
It was just 10 years of just conversation in the car.
Got some 94 babies in here.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
94 bets.
Come on,
Man, we old as hell, man. I'm not gonna lie.
Bro.
I wasn't gonna say it. I was not gonna say it.
Like, you know how you can feel a presence of just like something around the corner or something behind
30?
you? I just 30. This is
Grabbing
right
you
there,
by your
bro.
collar, boy.
That shit sounds nasty.
Bro, every time I do an investment, I'm thinking, yo, it's 30. Like,
30, man.
I got 2 year plan.
Fully established.
You know how everybody always says a 5 year plan? Like, I got a 2 year plan because I'm like, I got to get shit popping before I get to 30.
Yeah, because we in, it's 2020. Yeah, we on the way to be 28. So it's like 27 is in the past almost. So,
and then not to mention, this is like my golden birthday. So it's like, it's the one you're supposed to celebrate if you're old enough when you get to that point. Basically, your birthday matches your actual age. And so I'll be 28. And I'm just like,
what month your birthday is?
October.
Mm-hmm. My birthday, my golden, I never thought of my golden is 30. My birthday June 30th.
Oh shit, there you go.
There you go.
I'm going live. He just
You know what I'm saying? You got 2 years, brother.
Yeah.
You got 2 years.
But no, you had mentioned radio, and I didn't want to forget it. When he came with the idea and like radio, you said it didn't pan out for you. Is that something you still want to get into, or you still? Because like I told you had a voice. Like when we first met, I'm like, he was like, bro, I've been trying to do radio, this, that, and the third. But like, is that something you pushing to the side and just focusing on the pod, or whatnot?
If in a perfect world, if I could make it work, I think I would love to do that, because to me, this is easy. Like, this is not. I mean, you know what I'm saying? The production and the quality, and having your own cameraman, it's kind of nerve-wracking. So I don't know how crazy I'll look on camera.
Right.
Don't worry about that.
You know what I'm saying? Make sure you turn the brightness up so I ain't look it too dark. But,
Swaggy. Look, brother, I'm up here, brother. You ain't gonna be that dark.
Yo, that's crazy.
Fair point. Hey. But I say all that to say that like it's something that I always wanted to pursue, and it's something that I keep in the back of my mind. But it's one of those things. If it'll happen, it happen. Like I now. Like with Tyler bringing the podcast and then doing, hopping on your podcast and like Phoenix podcast and doing all these different opportunities. I kind of want to present myself as a business deal versus me working up the business ladder of radio.
Okay.
So it's not like I'll be opposed to it because I'm still trying to find a career. Yeah. And like this is my favorite thing in the world. Even if it was like a complete stranger, like I would love to just do nothing but interviews and talk to the person, because I feel like you'll get the most out of a person. Like, even though you can't read a book and they'll tell you everything in the book, to hear someone say it and to hear the mannerisms or see just their expression and see how passionate they get about certain shit when you talk to them, I feel like it just hits different than the book or seminar or whatever.
Or listening to a podcast.
Exactly.
Like when you interviewing somebody, or when you with somebody in physical form, or having a conversation over the phone, you can get so much more. And that person's like, I done read so many dope books where these authors are either deceased or I just can't get in contact with. I got questions, I got follow-ups of this and that and third. So no, I think you should definitely keep pursuing that, bro. And like with y'all podcast, that I'm under the belief that and I want to get y'all perspectives on this.
Okay.
I'm under the belief that every business, every individual in the next 5 to 10 years will need a podcast. And what I mean by that is, I think podcast is going to be similar to Instagram and Facebook, because it's like, that's like podcast growth over the last 15 years has been astronomical. Like it's just been like crazy. But it's like unable to get people message. Like most of the people I talk to, they listen to podcasts are like 2-hour episodes, 30-minute episodes, 15-minute episodes. But I feel like, and like, you got to understand where you're coming from as a person or as a business, of who your target audience is. Maybe you do hair and you do 10-minute episodes and people like, how can I learn that in 10 minutes? Maybe you need to do 45 minutes. I think that'll vary for everybody. But I do think the podcast world I think we're still early, and y'all are way earlier than me because I'm a year and 6 months in. It's like y'all got 5 to 6 years in. You're ahead of the curve, but I still think people who start tomorrow will be early. I want to know what y'all think about where podcast is going, though.
I would honestly say I think there is a future for it. If not, everyone having a podcast, everyone's going to know about a certain podcast episode. Because you think of like, just like, for instance, rest in peace, but like the Dwayne Haskins thing. Like, everybody's talking about it. And then certain people are going to go to that direct source to talk about it. Because like, you look at the Pat McAfee show, like he has an influence. He's still on radio, but he has a podcast. So people are going to want to hear his thoughts. Because it's podcasting is so great because it's long-winded content. It's like you could let your thoughts marinate. You could actually truly explain what you have to say. It's not like you're just trying to get a soundbite or a hot take because, okay, we got to talk about Kevin Durant and the Nets for 15 minutes, go. And like you trying to get everything you want to say about it in 15 minutes versus a 2-hour podcast, you could really develop a whole conversation and build it out. So I feel like it's the new, like if TikTok is like short form content, I think the new standard for long-term content will be podcasting because there's going to be podcasts about every single thing of the world. So like whatever you are interested, even if you're interested in learning something, you're going to get more from a podcast than you would somebody's video or an interview or whatever. And I feel like that's where the norm is.
What you think, Tom?
I'll just go from like the freedom aspect of it, you know, as far as, you know, just being able to talk and being able to do this with this man, yourself. Be heard every single week and just be able to, just express myself and just be able to talk about just family, friends, whatever the case may be, and just go up there and just say what's on my mind and not be able to, you know, be like, should I not say this? Should I say that? And
let it go.
You know, I just let it go. And like, you know, sometimes that does, you know, affect, you know, how our audience is. But, you know, if we're knowledgeable, you know, we'll you know, kind of right our wrongs on that. So, you know, I just being able to say, as far as what I'm thinking during the day, and just be able to spit it out is almost the best fucking feeling ever.
Dude, that's impactful. That's kind of even why I created this space. It was like I was in a position where I was stuck and I didn't know like what to do. And I'm like, dude, you can literally learn from people. So just start interviewing them, start picking their brains and like hearing what they have to say and being able to give feedback or, I actually agree with that. Actually, I disagree with that. It's so freeing. It's so like empowering. And then like, I think we learn more too from disagreements than everybody just agreeing a lot. It's like an agreement is cool. Like I agree with a lot of people and I also disagree with a lot of people too. But like, that's what this platform is basically it's freeing to me.
Yeah. And even if you haven't really known the person or like you don't really fuck with them a lot, like you could get to know them by listening to whatever the fuck they gotta say. You know, like people know that I do photography. People know that I dabble in music as far as like, you know, learning how to play bass now. So, you know, even if you didn't know those things, just 10, 15, 20, 30 minutes just hearing me talk, you know what I'm about and you know what the type of person that I can be or what I am. You know,
that's literally how I felt coming away from y'all podcast. It was like I went to the crib, Tyler crib, never met you guys in person before. Right. Conversation with B, pull up, sit down, we get to chopping, and y'all like, oh, this dude pretty chill. I'm like, these guys are legit. Like, they really locked in. Like, but that's how it happened. Everybody, you got to be open to that though. Like I was open to coming in y'all space and just filling y'all out and seeing what y'all was about, and vice versa. Y'all was open to invite me in. So like,
well, that's like. Our thing too is like at least me personally, I'd never want the guests to feel like this is an interview. I want it to be like, even though we got the quality camera, the quality mics, the production, the headset, like I still want it to feel comfortable. Like you know what I'm saying? We sipping on some drinks and just shooting the shit. Like,
come on.
This is, to me, this is easy.
Like, my whiskey.
Like, when I look at people and I look at like careers and stuff that they have and like, you know, doing the same thing over and over again and being miserable and being stuck, that's hard. Like that's a commitment to your bills, commitment to your just living situation and just trying to survive.
Yeah.
To me, this is easy. So I sure get you on the podcast, get whoever on the podcast. Let's just shoot the shit in the interview. And that's just my favorite type of interview because it's like I don't know you from a can of dirt. So like, how does this sound? Like the more comfortable and organic it sounds, I think that's the better job of just that dynamic of me and Tyler and just podcasting in general. Because it's like, we're not just looking for the clickbait or the Instagram reel. We're just talking to someone just to learn them. That's whatever their thing is or whatever.
I kind of want to shift to like, I want to hear both of y'all joys. I'll start with joys because I do need some struggles in a second. But like, what has kind of like been a joy of this podcasting journey y'all been on? Like, what has been fun for you guys?
Just being able to talk to locals, you know, like and whether it be artists, music artists, whether it be, you know, other photographers, videographers, whatever, you know, other podcasters, you know, whatever the case may be, you know, it's always a thrill to be able to pick somebody's mind and be able to talk to them and be able to get where they're at as far as a creative. As far as creatively goes, you know, so like that's always cool to me, man. Like just meeting new people and just being able to, you know, just like we keep saying, just be able to talk and be able to pick each other's minds and shit like that, man. And being open.
Yeah, that's important. I like that, man. What about you, B?
I'll be the yin to the yang. And locals are cool. I do rock with everybody. That's all love. Everybody don't hate me for this. But I personally, well, two things. I like being able to interview anyone. Like anyone that I see on my Instagram feed or my Twitter feed or YouTube or whatever. Like if I can look at them as a fan, like I want to be like, oh yeah, I want to talk to this person. So I want to get to pick their brain and stuff like Tyler said. But also with that is I don't want someone on my podcast that I can't shoot the shit with. Like, there's been, I don't want to say there's been opportunities because I still haven't asked, but like, I've seen people point me in a direction or Tyler in a direction like, yo, you should interview this person. You should interview this person.
I get that a lot.
But I'm like, I don't know if I can talk to him. Like, if I can't crack a joke with you or sit in the same room with you, I don't want to interview you. Like, I want it to be organic in the sense that, like, we just conversating because that's really it. So,
bro, that's huge. I want to stay there for a second. I definitely want your opinion on it too, but granted, don't ever stop, and I say this to my audience, don't ever stop giving me awesome people to talk to, but how annoying is it for people who constantly want to step on your platform and think what's best for your platform and where you're going. Do y'all feel that at all sometimes? Because I feel it a lot, but I want to talk to y'all about it because y'all in that world.
Hold on, let me get a sip of this whiskey. Go ahead.
Yeah. Sip my tea.
Usually when somebody wants to be on our podcast or usually suggest someone, we vibe with it. We were like, yeah, we're cool. But like, honestly, it's just like, we take it with a grain of salt because we go at our own pace and we want to be able to have them on the podcast at the right time when it's convenient for us and them. So with that being said, like sometimes we don't always get to be able to, get those certain artists to be able to come on our podcast. It's not to say that we don't like them or be able to, you know, rock with them.
It's like not that, even that. It's not that at all.
It's just that we get to it at our own pace, man. And
I agree with you, man. And it's like, for me too, like, please hold your thought because I really want your perspective. But for me too, it's like, I got a strategy behind, I got a method to the madness. Like, I can just ball out on rappers. I can do that, but like that's not what I have a target audience I'm trying to reach. And the rappers and the singers and whatnot, they are important for that, but it's like I can't just go 5 straight artists. Like I gotta get somebody talking finance, I gotta get somebody talking videography. I gotta get podcasters on who can speak into this world a little bit. Cause maybe somebody is on that brink watching this show right now, want to start a podcast, and they see 3 podcasters up here talking about it, and now they got a community to reach out to. But it's like people will try to step on it with their visions and their dreams and whatever they got going. It's like, that's not it, bro.
Yeah, me and Beer, we were actually just talking about this just Friday night. We were shopping up in the car.
Another car conversation.
You're just, hey, this is where it originated from. The car conversation. And like, we were just like, man, getting all these people that think, what y'all should do, or what y'all can do. And it's like,
don't be listening to
don't be listening to 10 minutes of it.
Can't tell me my icebreaker question for this season.
Man, I got the analytics. Like, I know who we watch.
Yeah,
you ain't gonna
exactly. But B, what you think, man, about that?
Well, first and foremost, I've never had the place. So Tyler's always had the place. So if I feel like I don't know this person or I can't like anyone I get on the podcast, if I had an interaction with them and I want them on the podcast, I feel comfortable enough to bring them to Tyler's house because this is obviously my best friend's crib. So I don't want no one to disrespect his house because then this is a bad look on me.
Come on.
So it's that, and then also it's also like kind of how you said on our podcast. You know what I'm saying? I went back and I doubled back. And you said that you had to do your research before you got to interview someone. And that's the same thing. It's like sometimes, tell you the truth, I'm going to sound toxic. I think it's the whiskey. Y'all got me drunk.
Uh-oh.
He going
some niggas I don't want to do the research for. Like, if I don't know you or
he ain't feeling it.
Like, if I'm not feeling it, I don't want to do the research and put in that work to do the interview. I want to interview dope people. Like, I want to interview people I'm a fan of. Because, like, regardless of if I never get to interview you, I always talk to you and I ask you to do the podcast and it just never happens, I'm still going to be a fan. Mm-hmm. So I don't want to bring someone on and kind of how you said right before the podcast where like you have to tell people like, oh, you have to talk. Yeah. Like the worst thing in the world is like interviewing someone and like, oh, what's your thoughts and opinions on it? It's bad.
I don't like it.
Damn, that's crazy.
Like, damn, how do you not like it?
It's just open-winded. This is an open-winded conversation.
You can literally have run-on sentences. Just say something.
Literally, just go.
Just keep it going, man. And I can't remember the last time we had a podcast where like somebody was like that and just like
it's been a while too for me. It's been a while for me too.
And honestly, when you get people like that, it kind of throws you off a little bit. It throws you off your game. And, as far as segments go and stuff like that and what you want to talk about, because, like, they're just one, like,
exactly. And you dudes, y'all on the podcast, so I know that you guys can talk. Like, I can talk for days, months, and Sundays, bro. That's why I tell people, like, they here to hear you talk, not me, fam. Like, they know me. So, some of them, they know.
Well, that's why I love the dynamic, and, like, that's why I said, like, on the same episode, I applauded you and Phoenix the ability of because like I did some run back episodes where I interview some people one-on-one and it's hard and you have to keep going. So that's why I love our dynamic because I might be passionate about this and then Tyler go wild or Tyler would be passionate about that and go wild and then I go wild. Exactly. And then like having a guest is just perfect because it usually is not dead air because it's always an organic conversation.
They can chime in.
You know what I'm saying? Some people never ran a 3-man weave in basketball and I feel like me and Tyler, so people put in that middle is always going to work.
And I definitely think like speaking of the 3-man weave, I definitely felt that like when I was on you guys' podcast, I was like, yo, like these dudes are like just chiming in and like voicing their concerns and their opinions, and then they like always bring it back to their guests. I'm like, that's interesting. That's kind of hard to do because like y'all do a really good job at giving y'all views, but y'all do an awesome job at letting y'all guests like, yo, this is your show still, this episode, so run with it. Y'all bastard that low.
And the crazy thing about it is that like we get props. We get everlasting props to, independents, like guys like you that just do solos, guys like Phoenix that do solos, because like you guys have to continue. We gotta be like bam,
Dead
bam,
space
bam,
is on
bam.
me. Dead space is on me. It's not like I got a counterpartner to run to. Like I gotta keep that flowing.
Right. Yeah. So as opposed to us, we both gotta be like this, that, and then go to Brian, this, that, and then go back, switch it up. So like that's what I always liked about our dynamic. Yeah.
No, for
and
sure.
like, there'd be any podcaster has their off days, where they just don't feel like talking. I've had my days where I just don't feel like talking. Beers has days where he just doesn't feel like talking maybe, and
somebody can carry the team.
Yep. And that's what we do. We try to do as best as we possibly can, man.
That's sweet.
That's also too like another thing is like I guess I have a majority role on bringing up the topics. Now Tyler does chip in on topics too, but my mindfulness of when I bring a guest on, I don't want a like I want to talk about the guests, like you said. I want the guests to cook and get their shine, and like that's the whole point of the guests is to highlight them. But I also have to ask a question that Tyler could get engaged to, or just me. Like I don't ask a question that's just solely focused on one person that they don't have to input, because naturally. And this is probably why some people might think I'm like shy or awkward. It's just, if I don't have no business talking about what I'm talking about, I'm going to shut the fuck up. Like, trust me, I love to talk. I'll talk about what I love to talk about.
Said be knowledgeable in that certain area.
But if I don't know what I'm talking about, I'm quiet. I'm just listening. And then shit, y'all saw it here. I was just in the cut.
Tell me when they go.
You know what I'm saying? And like, that's just the dynamic of having a podcast is like, I try to be mindful of each person that's on and so they can get the shine.
And that's important. And I do want to get just y'all biggest challenge of running a podcast. Now, for me, that could be equipment, carrying equipment, this, that, the third. It could be something as small as that. But what are some challenges that y'all face that really just bothers y'all about being a podcaster? There's many for me, but that's the one that's big for me.
It used to be honestly just space and timing. Because I mean, B has his jobs, and you know I have my job. You know, so we always are trying to look for a certain time when to do it, and you know we don't want to be burnt out. Like we don't want to do it at dead ass like midnight or some shit like that.
Be at your best.
You know, we want to be able to talk and not feel sleepier and all this stuff, and you know have dead air all the time. So you know we always face that challenge, and I think we do pretty good as far as like our. Usually we would like to run around 8-ish, 8:30-ish, you know, so our minds are still kind of wired, but at the same time, you know, if you hear our podcast around about hour 30, we start winding down a little bit. We start getting to the end. You know, that's when you know we fucking tired. Like we tired of talking to you niggas. We tired of talking about shit.
Go home.
And that's what it is, man. You know, so
timing aspect of it is pretty much that's legit.
And
my bad, Tyler, you was done?
You done?
Yeah.
Oh no, I was also gonna say, man, there was a time when it was location too, you know, and I went through a periodic time when like I was living at my mom's crib. And then I moved into an apartment, and then that apartment had a whole bunch of shit going on, like dogs barking and fucking have police sirens and shit like that going. And like we hear all that shit. We have old ass niggas living in the fucking in the apartment with us, just walking past. Like it just got crazy.
Yeah,
so I was like, so that was one of our hiatuses, you know, that we had to be like,
figuring out space, location.
Yeah, we had to figure out, okay, let's just set this aside until we figure out a location, until we figure out a good time, you know, and that's what we had to do.
Yeah, no, for sure. That's huge.
I would say one is definitely it's a little shade, but like just getting Tyler to talk. You hear how great he is on this episode of the podcast. When Tyler goes, it's like I can tell because I get the feedback, and they're like, "Yo, that was a great episode of the podcast." So you're like, "Y'all were hilarious. Y'all were stupid." Da, da, da.
Yeah.
So it's just basically trying to get him to talk and go all the time. And like you said, I get it. We're both tired. We both have jobs and responsibilities. But when he goes, I think every episode's great. But also, like you say, I would also say probably equipment and things of that nature, because like. It's kind of my responsibility. It's my fault because I do like having control.
Yep.
But my thing is like I just only want Tyler to worry about. He provided the place. All I want you to do is worry about talking. So me trying to be the producer, me trying to fix the mics, me trying to make sure the mics and levels is good and all this stuff. It's so hard and taxing because it's like I'm just a one-man team. So then like uploading the episode, and then I probably got so many grammatical errors and shit like that.
No, he really did on this shit, man.
Like,
that's why I hired him.
Shit, I might hire him. Bro,
that's why
it's so hard when you have
his business card before you leave. Get his business card.
All these jobs and just different things you have to worry about and think about at the same time, and then also you got to do the podcast and then be funny and have the interview and the questions. Yeah. So it's just pretty much like equipment and like Tyler said, having a place, because there were sometimes like we probably at least shot 5, 6, maybe 7 different places.
7 different ass locations, man.
Like, and
all of them were early, and all of them sound crazy.
Wow. This is probably why we're so consistent now, is because we've been at Tyler's spot this past year, and this has been the most consistent the podcast has been because we have a definitive spot.
Yeah.
And then shit, I like kind of how you were. I bought a tote, and then I was carrying it up Tyler's 3 flights of stairs, and then after that,
hey,
he's
them
like, "You want to
flights
just
ain't
leave
no
it
joke.
there?" Bro, imagine carrying the tote and a backpack, bro. I'm tired.
Nigga, I was carrying laundry up that every single week. I carry laundry up that, man.
Yeah, no, it's all about making it optimal though. Like I used to be on the struggle bus, and the dude was like, "Yo, we got to go get you some gun cases." I'm like, "Some gun cases?" He was like, "It's the best. It's the best way to carry equipment." Kind of saved my life because I was ready to throw in the towel if people really tell me about that.
But to be honest,
I was carrying mics in my armpits, and
when you think about it, you don't know if that man for business or the man for about that.
If I see a nigga with a gun,
check him.
Hey.
Check it at the gate.
Because I'll be carrying the tote, so they might be like, "What's in the tote? Let me look at that." But you got a gun case, ain't finna. Oh, what's in that? Okay, I'll show you.
All right.
But man, where can we find y'all podcast at, man? Just shout out all the places, man, because I do think y'all space is really dope, especially for the people who enjoy the latest trends and like comedy and just like real conversation, because that's what I get when I listen to you guys' show. So just shout out where everybody can get that at. I want to make sure we get that in.
The main definitive spot is anchor.fm/Tyler Bryant Hour. We do have a Patreon, and we haven't been great on Patreon uploading episodes. We got 3 of them on there, so you can support us on there. I mean, anywhere where you get podcasts, you know what I'm saying? Anchor, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts. I think we're on like 8, 9 different platforms. But
I honestly think we got a couple of episodes, early episodes still up on YouTube.
Okay.
You know, so like if you ever want to if anybody new want to ever get a chance to listen to me and Brian, you know, in our early stages, they can just go to YouTube, man.
Boom.
They're all there.
It's growth in those early stages. I cringe when I listen to you a savage for pointing out your early episodes, because I cringe when I listen to my early ones. I'm like, I said that. What am I doing? But no, we not nearby done. I just wanted to make sure we got it.
Oh, yeah. I appreciate that.
But no, I just want to jump into y'all skills. It's like, I'm gonna start with you, Tyler, on photography. Just like, how long you been doing that, and like, why is that so important to you?
6 years. Yeah. Going on about 6 years I've been doing photography, but like, I never really got the hang of it as far as, you know, being able to be out there consistently and be able to, you know, do shoots and stuff like that, be able to book shoots. Yeah. And I kind of fell out of love with it, like, kind of off and on, which is why I keep taking hiatuses, because I just find something else to kind of distract me. But like, you know, as far as the photography itself, man, it's the best thing ever. It's honestly the best thing I've ever did with my life, as far as being able to capture something in a moment at a certain time, be able to just connect with the camera and just be able to, you know, capture something that probably nobody's ever seen. Yeah. Or they probably didn't do it in a certain style in which I'm trying to, you know, project. So with that being said, it is looking like kind of a retirement stage for me coming up this summer. And it's just for me to kind of get my mind right.
You putting the camera down?
It might look like it.
I love it. Okay.
This might be official. This might be
shared this on the minds. I appreciate it.
It might be an official. It might be just an official retirement, just for a little bit, man. Just for a little bit, just to get my mind right.
Extended hiatus. Nothing wrong with it.
You're gonna be a Tom Brady retirement.
Yeah. He coming back.
Hey, you know I'm coming back.
He coming back.
You know I'm coming back.
So I'm gonna let y'all get this year. Go ahead.
Yeah. Did you get any like teaching, coaching with photography, or you just jumped in trial and error?
Trial and error. I started out just shooting shit around my neighborhood, honestly.
That's the best way,
doing shit like, you know how you begin, like trees and you know cars and stuff like that, alleyways. And then shout out to Mike Fahm, man, one of the best photographers I've ever seen.
What's his name?
Mike Fahm. Shout out to that man, and shout out to Board too, Tobias.
Shout out.
That's my man.
That's my boy.
Yeah.
Both them, man. They didn't necessarily take me under their wing, but they showed me a lot of things as far as different angles, what you want to look for as far as like the background goes and stuff like that. What you want to do as far as, you know, models and stuff like that. Where you want them at a certain time. What you want them, you know, as far as like posing and stuff like that. And I wouldn't have thought about that shit otherwise.
Yeah.
You know, I'm just so simple. Like, I just shoot to shoot, you know, and like people be like, damn, that look kind of good. I'm like, really? You think so? Like, and then I just capture it like that, man. Like, I've never really gone into like a premeditated stage of like what I'm looking for in a shoot. I just know what I see and I just want to shoot it.
Yep.
That is just, it's always been as simple as that, man. Yep. And like I see these young photographers, man, they just like they kind of stress on like as far as location and stuff like that, as far as lighting, lighting and models and stuff like that. I was like, man, just go out there and fucking shoot.
Yeah.
You know, like that's what started out. You know, that's how you came into it. So like it's just, you know, and you know, granted, having that simplicity sometimes doesn't always get you like the results that you want as far as growing. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, I feel like I'm still having fun with it. You know, and that's always the most important thing with me, man. Like if I can't have fun with it, or I'm not excited to go shoot something that I've looked at or I passed by 150 fucking times a day. Yep. And I think to myself, I was like, you know what, that would look good. Or like I could get this model and then, you know, do that
Make
shit.
It work. Yeah.
So like, if I can't do that, if I don't have that spark anymore, then it's like, man, fuck it. I don't need to be doing it. And you
that's
know,
huge.
With that being said, as far as like my retirement goes, I just need something to be able to, you know, kick up a little bit more spark for me. So that's why I'm going, that's why I'm taking all these trips, and I'm gonna be traveling. I don't know about y'all niggas. I'm gonna be traveling. I'm gonna be in the mountains some damn where. I'm gonna be up in North Dakota, South Dakota, any type of Dakota, man. I'm gonna be up in there in the mountains, man. I'm gonna be into.
I'm gonna be like realize how boring the mountains are.
I'm a nature guy. I'm a forest guy myself, man. I love my city. I love the people, and I love that hustle and bustle. But at the same time, I just gotta be out in the quiet. You know, just being able to have that sanctuary, you know, that solitude.
Especially when you grew up in the city, it's like, man need quiet, man need peace. So yeah, I'm with you on that. Like I love that solitude.
Like if you could get away but still have the internet and access to things, I think I would do it in a heartbeat. Because there's something about that peace of mind.
You can go to Adele.
Go away by yourself, not.
Hey, you from Texas? Yeah. So you know what's like them country roads, man. I know. And being an Iowan as we are, man. As much as we don't like country and stuff like that, being out on the roads, man, it is in us. It's honestly in us. I like going on. Hey, I don't know about you, nigga. I like going on dirt roads. Yeah, I like driving on that shit, man.
Fucking spot of
exactly.
See, this nigga ain't never had a functional car before. That's why he be getting stuck in mud.
We had a functional car. I was on a trip and we got stuck, and then I was picking. I was like, nah, fuck this.
How the fuck you get stuck?
So no traveling for. He ain't.
No, for a while now.
Nah, he'll be in the passenger. He ain't driving no damn.
I ain't getting no country road.
And he said he need his Wi-Fi too. You heard my boy.
You know what I'm saying? Because I need to work, man. I need to work.
Work man gets paid. Yeah. Now, what about you, Brian? Like I remember talking about your video gaming, and I'm just gonna ride your back about the amazing voice you have and like what you need to do with your voice. But like, what about you and your skills, and what do you do in your free time, man?
See, what's crazy is I've never thought that I was good at anything. Like I think my best skill is the fact that I realize that I'm not good at anything because I try every damn thing, and that might be a reason why I'm not good at anything because I'm always trying some shit. And like,
that's trial and error. That's trial and error.
Lock in,
like I think that's probably why I'm not good at anything because I don't put my full 100% in anything because I have so many different passions, so many different things I'm interested in.
You should have seen when I first started playing basketball, bro. It was tragic. And I'm able to say I'm a professional basketball player today. They come from trial and error, bro.
Hey, man, salute to you, though.
For sure.
It's because when you live in your truth. Practice. Like, niggas don't know how to work on just a mid-range jumper. Niggas want to shoot threes, half-court threes, then the crossover Kyrie moves. It's like you never working on just one thing at a time. And I feel like that's how I am. And whether it be like podcasting or YouTube, Twitch, I just like try everything. I don't feel like I have a true skill because even like when I put something out, like I'll put up a YouTube video. So I'll record a YouTube video, use the voiceover, play the game that I love, then edit it. Then I'll upload it to YouTube and then I'll do the graphic designs. I'm making the thumbnail. And then I uploaded it to YouTube, put the title and everything, and then I'll have a homie be like, yo, that was a dope video. And I'm like, I hated everything about that video. The only reason I hate everything about that video is because I'll notice the little minuscule details that people won't notice that I can make it better or edit it better and just have a better pace. But it's just like, I don't know how to do that because I grew up an only child. So when you, like, I graduated from YouTube Academy, like, see what I'm saying? So I'm straight YouTube with it. Everything that I've learned with the podcast, literally everything has been from YouTube. But everybody got different setups. Everybody got different mics. And then like this mic could be different from that mic. And there's a whole different tutorial and you won't get it. And like just yesterday, I was trying to, so I mean, this might be nerd talk, but I was using Photoshop and I was using the pen tool. The pen tool is how you usually cut something out. And I was cutting out this figure of like this woman in this game. And when I was cutting her out, I was able to cut out the outside perfect. I know how to use the pen tool. But what I was trying to do is instead of using the eraser tool to erase like kind of like the space in between her arms, I was trying to pen tool it out, but I didn't know how to link the pen tool that I already did with it. So I spent like an hour and a half before I just said, fuck it, bro. I'm gonna just blur the background. But that's the type of stuff that bothers me because it's like I still couldn't get it. I was like, all I wanted to do was just add to this pen tool, and I just couldn't figure it out. And even typing it on YouTube, it's like, yo, you want to just learn how to use the pen tool? No, motherfucker, I want to learn how to add to it. And then that's the frustration.
Show me the real.
Yeah, that's the stuff that be frustrating me, and that's like what often happens with me. So, I've been reading this book. It's called Atomic Habits by James Clear.
Heard that was fire.
It's a good read.
One of my best friends sent that to me like 2 weeks ago.
It's a good read. I didn't finish it. I did say on my podcast I wanted to finish it within a week, but I did read over 100 pages, which is pretty good for someone that's getting into reading.
Hey, it's a black man reading.
But,
I don't read shit.
Hey, them books.
I don't.
That's good. I don't.
But, hey, the books got knowledge, bro. Shit,
I know they got knowledge, bro. I gotta find the time to start reading, man.
And they got the secrets in them. But I say all that to say that in the book, he was just basically trying to say that you're not like, I always felt like I had bad habits.
Yeah.
It's not bad habits. It's a bad system. And then on top of that, it's like you got to rebuild the foundation, and then you have to kind of become like that person. Like I would look at you as an interviewer, and you know what I'm saying. Oh, you does this podcast shit. We on the minds. You got set up. You does this. You do quite well.
We
for
built
yourself.
this. Thank you, sir.
And especially with Tyler, and I feel like Tyler's great at it too. But I never felt that way. So what I'm learning is that now, even though I have like want to do every fucking thing in the world, I have to actually become that. So if I'm reading a book, I have to become a reader. I never looked at myself as a reader, but I have to become that. And especially with Photoshop, I have to look at myself as a graphic designer. And with podcasting as a YouTuber, I have to look at myself and put those multiple hats on and actually do it instead of just trying to do it. Because then I will never become that unless I actually believe that I am that. So
that's huge. I don't think you could explain that better, bro. Like with just like, and that book is you just might have sold it, so he need to give you some money. I might grab that, but
I got PayPal if you wanna listen.
Yeah. No, I'm talking about the author, not me. I can buy it from you.
Hey, brother, you got a lot of listeners.
I can buy it from you if you want your money back.
So
something gotta pay you. But I do want to talk to y'all about this because like just basically hearing both of y'all talk, even like about y'all respective skills and like hobbies y'all doing outside. Why is it so hard for us to just lock in and do one thing? Why we can't focus?
It's because we don't want to be complacent in just one thing. I feel like, at least that's me. Yeah. Because for me, I always need to be doing something. Like I hate feeling like a bum. Like I'm just I just need to be either I'm practicing bass, or I'm doing my vinyl collecting, or I'm on this podcast, or I'm doing photography. Like nothing of those four
gotta be
really
busy.
falters, you know. And like with that being said, we can't focus on shit.
We can't focus, man.
We can't always focus on just like one thing, man, because
I agree.
It's never one thing that gets you to it. You know, as far as what your outcome wants to be, is never one crowning thing.
I like
honestly.
that. Yeah.
It's not. Like you gotta be able to go down this road and then turn, then go down another road and then turn, and then be able to pretty much meet a juncture to where, you know, you want to succeed.
Yeah.
Or be able to find that one thing that, you know, that you break through to. You know, and you know, once you break through, you know that you got it.
Yeah.
You know, and can't nobody fucking take that away from you. So,
I mean,
I like that. What you think, Bri?
To be fair, I feel like it's social media. Like, I never really looked at multiple like jobs or titles until I looked at social media. And I looked at what other podcasts were doing, and I started comparing them to myself. Once I started looking back at myself and like my podcast platform, because like I listen to my episodes back just because it's like, if I don't like the shit, how the hell am I gonna sell it to anyone else?
Right.
So once I started doing that, I realized that, the number one thing I want to work on is audio. And then once I got the audio right, I want to get the clips and like the camera. And that's the next thing I'm working towards. I mean, granted, like life gets in the way and the multiple hats and stuff like that. But yeah, for me, it was just basically social media. I feel like that's when I kind of, because I'm not a jealous person. I'm not a hater. I've never been a hater in my life and I never will be. I'm more of an envious person of like, I like seeing people that I rock with or seeing people do dope shit because then that motivates me to do dope shit. Because the worst part is like when you scrolling, you kind of had an okay day. You may be watching Netflix a little bit too long or you just kind of just had a lazy day. Everybody has it. You know what I'm saying? It's hard to have consistently good days. But shit, I'll scroll on the timeline, see Juwan do a community thing, see the podcast, see Borg do something, Fawn do something, Tyler do something. Like, let me get my black ass up and go do something. That's what I be like, because like, and especially after this, after I get chills right now. Like tomorrow's podcast is gonna be stupid because we gotta pop. Like I gotta go crazy. Like that's where social media kind of made me wear the multiple hats. Where I kind of took a break. I mean, I'm still kind of taking a break, but once I took a break, bro, my mind has never been clear. Because it's like you only care about that shit because you see it. Like, once you take that out of the way, what do you care about? Like, it's been the most. My life still never like. It's not like I deleted social media so I get bitches get money. No, it's still struggling out here. We still living the same life, but like just the peace of mind of having the clarity of just, all right, what do I actually care about? Yeah. What's driving me to this? Yeah, right. Yeah. Because it was like, bro, the day Will Smith slapped Chris Rock, like all you saw is everywhere. Everywhere. It was just trending everywhere. And it's like, I agree with you. I agree with you strongly. And it's like, the reason I asked that, I don't know, I can't remember if I actually talked to you guys about this, but I was talking about that Netflix documentary Social Dilemma. And like I listened to a lot of like the guy who produced it, Tristan Harris. I listened to a lot of his work. He go to these different organizations, he go to these different places and talk to these people who run these social media networks and things of that sort. And one thing he always say, and he's intentional about saying, is social media has taken away man's inability to complete a task. So it's like if you want to become the next best web designer, and you can start on that journey, but like you'll get distracted so much by social media. I mean, I'm super guilty of just spending like 30 minutes on social media in the morning or at night, and I'm like, what am I doing? Like, it's the first thing you pick. The first thing you do when you wake up, pick up your phone, man. And it's like, what about if I put that 30 minutes towards my business, building my web development business? For lack of a better example, it's like social media has strongly, I think, gotten in the way of that, and that's the impression I'm under. And like always, you could track it on your phone and stuff like that. But like you said, we all have those days where we spend too much time on Netflix or social media and this, that, and the third. And it's like, I think that's really gotten in our way, guys. And then I think that's the hardest thing about kind of how we're all kind of content creators, because it's like, I wanted to get away from social media, but I physically can't. Like, my business strives better. Like, the podcast strives better. My YouTube strives better.
If you're
Twitch,
active.
If I'm active. I'm on
social media.
And making those connections. But it's just like, damn.
Get you, huh?
And then, not to mention, is like, you could get love from 100 people, but that one person that says something, or that one person that, like, there could be petty, like, I would hear the pettiest shit, and it's just be like, yo, be heard. Breathe weird. And it's like, nigga, no, I'm like conscious of how I breathe. And I can't say nothing on the podcast or YouTube. I'm just like, bro.
No, yeah, I feel it though. Like, it gets in our way, it messes with us, but I just say I'm going through it. Like, I'm doing what I gotta do. If I write it down on my mood board or my pen and pad, I gotta do it. Whether it might take me 3 months longer than I expected, but it's like I consciously try to keep social media out the way, because if you don't acknowledge it, we're all gonna keep falling victim, which we still gonna fall victim even when it's conscious.
Right. Yeah.
So it's like, but before we get out of here, man, I do want to get this from y'all. I do. I have to get this. I asked the last guest this, but I feel like this is gonna be. So, okay. What is the best advice someone has ever given you? I need some help today. Somebody help me. Is the reader gonna go first? Or
that's
yeah. Let that nigga go first. He's more illiterate than me. Hey.
I'm trying to think of the best.
Hey, he the brains. I'm just a mouth.
I'm the mouthpiece. What up?
Is basically, I guess, I want to say what my dad always told me. Because, like, my dad always had the mindset, you know what I'm saying? Like, it was older black family. Like,
absolutely.
They're on the mindset of cusp of, like, they believe in me, they support me wholeheartedly, but they're just like, okay, just so do it.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? I can explain them all these different things, the technicalities and all the issues I have. And they're like, okay, so do it. Like, my dad's basically like, either you gonna do it or you're gonna wish you want to do it. So just might as well do it. Right. But the best, I don't know if I want to go with that answer. I guess the same answer I had with our podcast with the wrestling. What if it turns out better than you could imagine? Like, that just kind of sticks with me because it's like, I'm always putting the ceiling and cap on certain things. So it's like, I might as well try to do more with it and see what happens.
Maximize that. That's beautiful. No. What if it turned out better than you actually ever imagined? That's beautiful.
I think for me, it comes from more of a life perspective as far as just dealing with shit. Because my father passed away a few years ago.
Sorry to hear that, brother.
Yeah, a few years ago. And like, I tried to spend as much time as I could with him because like I obviously knew that there was shit wrong with him, like as far as like health goes and stuff like that. So I would just try to pick his mind because like he was 64 when he passed.
Wow.
So like I try to pick his mind as much as I possibly can on like how he lived his life and how I could live mine, but like obviously with it being the good and the bad, you know, you take what you get.
Yeah.
And like what he said to me, he was like, you know, there's people that are going to love you, people going to hate you, and people that are just going to be that in between that don't give a fuck about you. Like either way, you know, like, and like when he said that, I just kind of like thought about it and I was like, well, obviously I want the people there for me that love me. And, you know, I kind of want to be able to reach out to the people that hate me a little bit, you know, just be able to be like, yo, what is it about me that kind of like makes you be like, you know, I really just don't fuck with Tyler. Like, fuck him, you know, like
how did you get there?
Like, how did you come to that perspective where like, you just don't like me? Yeah. And the people that like are in that in between, man, you know, I want to get to know them too. You know, I want to be able to pick everybody's brains I come in contact with,
That's
you know, just be able to be, you know, that person that, you know, changes their mind about stuff, you know, like, and be like, you know what, yeah, that nigga Tyler, he's kind of cool, you know, like he's all right. He's a straight shooter, and I am a straight shooter.
Come on,
like I
we
just
need more of those.
You know, I say how it is, man. My pops was the same way. Yeah. I have really no fucking filter at all. You know, I just say what's on my mind, man.
Definitely
like,
the episode I can't show moms.
Yeah, it's definitely the episode you can't show moms.
Hide it.
You know, and like I've always had that thing about me, like I can't be conservative about like what I say at all. Like, you know, and my mom, sweet. She's like the same in the family, you know, like she can't do no wrong. So when she hears me talk about certain shit or I'm cussing in her house, she be like, why the fuck you cussing all the time? Well, she doesn't say that, but you know, you cuss too much. You just like your daddy. And like, I'm like, hey, you know, that's the solidarity in me. You know, that's something that doesn't falter. And I've been that way for fucking ever since I met this nigga over here. You know, like it's just been that way. You know, and like with
be here,
like man, and with anybody, man, I just wish for them. Like I just hope when they talk to me, they get the best of me. You know, as far as what they know that I'm about. You know, and that's one thing that I've always carried, that I always will from that conversation that I had with my pops, man. You know, and just being able to take that and be able to use it in everyday experience, man. Apply in the world, and that's the best thing.
That's huge, man. When it comes to advice, you got to actually use it. Like you got to actually use it. And I tell people all the time, like the best advice I ever got was just the strength to ask for help. And I actually got the advice from a young counselor, black counselor on the podcast. I didn't know her.
Right on.
Interviewed her. And she was just like, yeah, it's a strength to ask for help. I was like, wow.
And then
As a black man, I've never thought about that. Asking for help.
Because I mean, shit. Can you think of the people you could ask for help and like they'll truly help?
Yeah, I mean, I've been blessed to build up this community of people around me, but before I started working to actively build this community, no, I couldn't.
Yeah, I'd have to really think about it.
I couldn't. Like, I wouldn't have a good list for you. Like, seriously.
I guess it just depends too, like on who you would ask or who.
No, for
like,
sure.
Like what it is, because some people you can ask, and some people it's like if you ask for money or something like that, or like their time. Some people might just give you the money before they give you the time.
And that can vary whatever season you're in life, though.
That's true.
But like as black men, what I know is 4 black men in the room. And by the way, we're in Iowa. This is extremely rare. But 4 black men in the room, I just always try to continue to get that out there to my people. It's like, yo, it's a strength to ask for help. Like, we can't do this all on our own. Like, we wasn't called to do this life all on our own. So,
but then another thing too, just to add to that, and how you talk about life is like how I view like life in perspective is like there's a reason. I don't know what the reason is. I don't know what my goal is or what like if I'm just a vessel or what. But there's a reason God made it so I see my life through my perspective. So same with you, same with Tyler, same with this out there. So I don't know what I'm supposed to do. What this life or what the message is, but I want to be able to do something because like my goal is that with the podcast alone, like Tyler never have to work another day in life if you don't want to. And like, because I started that Run Back series, it's like a one-on-one series where I interview people from the FGC, like the fighting game community. But I kept it in the same thing. So it might hurt or help the Tyler Bryant name. But every episode, Tyler get paid. So every run back I do that gets views, which some of our run backs have been our most viewed episodes, Tyler's still getting paid for that. Yeah. Because I want to make sure he's straight. If I hire an editor, I want to make sure he's straight. If I hire a cameraman like you guys got and this dynamic, he's straight. Like I want to build, like you said, a community and just be able to help everybody and just do different things and dope shit.
It's beautiful, man. And what I would leave you guys with is everything is cause and effect. We got a decision to make every day we wake up.
Hold on, we don't have one wild topic. You got TBH on the podcast. We can't get one wild one.
Look. I think Tyler was already wild. Bro. You are. And he brought up Will and Jada, not me. You heard him? You heard him bring up Will and Jada?
Brought the slap. I didn't bring up Will and Jada.
Yeah, I get unleashed, man. Yeah, this ain't even.
He said, look, he's sipping that whiskey. But no, man, I really love what y'all had to give, man.
Absolutely.
Tyler, appreciate you, man.
We appreciate you,
Good
man.
to see you, brother. Like, for real, it's love.
Definitely, always
appreciate you, man. And yeah, Tyler Bryant Hour. You guys know where to find it. It'll be linked in the description below. But yeah, that wraps up another episode of the Minds with Hakeem. Thank you, beautiful gentlemen, coming on and just spilling into my people, man.
Always a pleasure, man. Thank you for having us,
It's
man.
love.